Because, I was saying on my Instagram earlier, I remember fights in even high school or even younger than that, where a kid brought a penknife or something to school and teachers were able to defuse that and they didn't have guns.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. This week, CNN of all places, had the audacity to complain about loaded chyrons from their competitors at Fox News. New Day host Brianna Keilar actually tore into Fox for conspiracy theories and fear-mongering.
Fox in the era of President Joe Biden is a carousel of conspiracy theories and fear-mongering. So really what I'm saying is not much has changed. But the chyrons, those headlines that you see at the bottom of your screen, they are getting noticeably more creative. Fox uses them to push their conspiracy theory that Biden is essentially senile. At least this one has the qualifier seems on it.
It's really funny that CNN would get upset that another news network says Biden seems senile. After all, this is the network that its own employees call propaganda.
Yeah, like Trump, we did it. Like when Trump was, I don't know, like his hand was shaking or whatever like that. We brought in like so many medical people to like all tell a story that like it was all speculation. That he was like neurological damage, like that he was losing it. He's unfit to, whatever. We were creating a story there that we didn't know anything about. So that's I think that's propaganda.
CNN still hasn't responded to that Project Veritas video of their technical director Charlie Chester, but things like these chyrons on Fox News, that upsets them.
Other Fox banners imply that Biden basically belongs in a home.
How could you think a Democrat that can barely finish a sentence would actually be lost and confused? That's not news. I love how CNN just avoids facts and pushes their propaganda. Right, Joe?
So the best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Yeah, anyway, these lefties know who their audience is. Joe Scarborough actually admitted on air this week that he didn't want to talk too much about the vaccination rate and the success of President Trump's Operation Warp Speed. He wanted to mention it as little as possible. Why? Well, because his viewers don't like it.
And Willie, you go back, I certainly don't want to belabor the point because I don't want to make a lot of people that watch this show and don't want to hear anything positive about Donald Trump spit their cereal into the television set.
But even Joe had to admit Trump got the ball rolling and selected the right companies to work with.
And that was in June of 2020. And if you look at so first of all, the selections, we selected much better. The Trump administration selected much better than Europe, obviously. And then you look what those companies did from June forward to the end of the year. Come on. This is ridiculous. It's a miracle.
Enjoy that moment because it was very brief and the leftists just went back to doing whatever it takes to push their agenda. For example, CBS on Thursday.
Georgia, you discussed climate anxiety in the podcast, and we heard Juliana mention her feeling her chest tighten when she talks about this. What do you mean exactly, climate anxiety?
Really? You might want to say toughen up a little bit, but I did research it. It's a real thing. One of the first things that pops up on Google, well, here's the headline. Climate anxiety and mental illness. It seems there's a plausible connection that climate anxiety leads to mental illness. Imagine that. CBS really does love to imagine things this week. While discussing the passing of Walter Mondale, a one-time Democratic presidential challenger to Ronald Reagan, they came to a interesting conclusion.
He was a self-described progressive. He lost that landslide election 49-1.
Yes.
Believes in government, and he seems to have won the argument, at least of today. Government is not the problem in people's lives that Reagan described.
Uh-huh. That set of news segments from CBS driven home by Toyota. Give them a call and ask them about shifting their gears on their advertising. It's now tinfoil hat time, and shocker of all things, we lead off with MSNBC's Joy Reid. She's lashing out at police and defending knife-wielding teens because knife fights are just no big deal to Joy.
Because, I was saying on my Instagram earlier, I remember fights in even high school or even younger than that, where a kid brought a penknife or something to school and teachers were able to defuse that and they didn't have guns. One of the officers who responded to the scene had on a Blue Lives Matter face mask. Social media has shown videos of people yelling at somebody who yells Blue Lives Matter. We don't know whether it was one of the police. But if cops are showing up to the scene of a shooting of somebody and there's people in pink jumpsuits running around and teenage girls running around, and your response to that, given the sensitivities we're in right now on the day of the George Floyd verdict, is to show up in a Blue Lives Matter mask, what message do you think that is sending to the community and to Black people in general about your value for human life?
Maybe it says you value lives and you're a policeman. More insanity late last week from CNN. Now, this proves that his mind is like a dark alley that you wouldn't want to venture into alone. Yes, it's Fredo Cuomo's thoughts, so let's go in together into his dark, twisted fantasies as he makes his argument to further gun control and his anti-police propaganda.
And you know what the answer is? You really do. You don't like it. I don't like it. It scares me. Shootings, gun laws, access to weapons. Oh, yeah, I know when they'll change. Your kids start getting killed. White people's kids start getting killed. Smoking that doobie that's actually legal probably in your state now, but they don't know what it was. And then the kid runs and it pop, 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 pop. Cop was justified. Why'd you run? Oh, he had a baseball game tonight. Oh, a white kid. Oh, big family. That house over there. Those start piling up. What is going on with these police?
Let's just take a moment to pause and soak in the look of that very, very sane CNN anchor right there. Yeah, he kind of seems familiar every now and then, but no joke. When you don't have facts, this is where media leftists have to reach to make a point. And we're at that point now where we have to wrap things up. I'm Eric Shiner for MRC TV. Please visit the MRC store, show your support for conservative values, and wear them on your sleeve when you can. Please visit mrctv.org for the latest videos, information, and entertainment. Also, like, share, and subscribe to these videos on the social media platform of your choice. Check us out on Rumble, Parler, TikTok, and a variety of other social media. And we'll be back next week with more leftist media insanity.